Hello friends, today I'm going to share with you some valuable information about software professionals in Canada, and by the end of this video you will know number 1, how to become a software tester and skills required, and number 2, how much do software testers earn in Canada. Welcome to Let's Ask Razdan, and here we talk about various career choices, money and everything else around it. Before we get into the thick of the things, let me tell you, my mission is to help people build a fulfilling career and a successful life in doing what they love to do. So let's start with how can you become a software tester? So for working as a tester, you would need a bachelor's degree in computer science or software engineering or IT, or even people with diplomas can work as software testers if they have the right skills. Software testing is the process of checking whether the actual results match what's expected of the software or not. They are the quality assurance experts who test new digital products thoroughly to ensure that there are no bugs, eliminate poor performance, and get rid of performance issues. Now let's talk about the technical skills you need to become a software tester. Number 1, basic knowledge of Linux commands. The vast majority of softwares are deployed in Linux machines, and that's why it's critical that testers have sufficient knowledge about Linux and its commands. Number 2, basic knowledge of database and SQL. Software systems usually operate with massive amounts of data in the background, and sometimes as a software tester you have to validate this data and check whether proper data is stored in your database or not. Number 3, hands-on experience with test management tools. Test management tools help to track all your test cases written by your team. Since most companies use such solutions, you need to know how to use them. Number 4, experience with automation tools. If you would like to become an automation tester after a few years working as a manual tester, then you need to master some of the tools and get hands-on experience on these tools. Please make a note that knowing a scripting language is always helpful if you are looking for automation testing jobs. Number 5, knowledge and experience in defect tracking tools. So defect tracking and lifecycle are key aspects of software testing. It's hard to manage and track defects properly if you don't use the right tools such as Bugzilla or Jira. Now let's jump to the other part of the video and talk about how much do software testers make on average in Canada. We'll talk about salaries in 6 big provinces and compare it across various experience levels. By experience level, I mean working at entry, mid, and senior level positions. Few things to keep in mind before we proceed. Number 1, these numbers are annual base salary in thousands of dollars per year. Number 2, these numbers are for full-time salaried employees and not contractors. And number 3, these numbers are for people working as manual testers, automation testers, and QA managers. Now let's talk about one of my favorite places in Canada, Halifax. Here manual testers start somewhere around $44,000 and max at around $80,000, whereas automation testers start at $55,000 and can go all the way till $95,000. Now this doesn't mean they cannot go above and beyond these numbers. One way to do that is to take up role of quality assurance manager, where you can earn up to $123,000 per annum. Now moving a little bit west from Nova Scotia to Quebec. In Quebec, when we talk about Quebec City, here manual testers and automation testers make less than Halifax by starting at around $43,000 and $49,000 respectively, and they cap out at around $79,000. If we talk about QA managers, they are slightly better off than their manual and automation testing peers, as they start around $75,000 and cap out at $123,000. Now in Quebec, if we look at a different part of the province, let's talk about Montreal, and the numbers say a very different story when compared to Quebec City. For automation testers especially, even though you are in the same province, couple hundred kilometers apart, you can make way more than what you could in Quebec City. There's a lot of demand for automation testers there, and companies are willing to pay top dollars for that. The salary range is between $85,000 and $140,000 for automation testers, which to my surprise is way more than that of QA managers. Keep one thing in mind, that these numbers are averages and do not necessarily mean that your manager earns less than you. Before we jump to the next one, I hope you are liking this video, and if you are, please show some love by pressing that like button and subscribing to this channel. Now let's jump all the way west to British Columbia and let's talk about Vancouver and Victoria region. The salary range for different experience levels at these two places is almost similar. In Greater Vancouver area, manual testers get paid between $48,000 and $64,000 in entry level, $56,000 to $76,000 in mid, and $66,000 to $86,000 in senior roles. Automation testers range between $65,000 to $107,000, and QA managers range between $81,000 to $132,000. Vancouver is a very big market for IT industry with lots of technology companies and startups in that area. We'll talk about both these provinces together. The numbers in Winnipeg, Manitoba are pretty much similar to those of Regina and Saskatoon in Saskatchewan. Manual testers range between $47,000 at entry level and go up to $85,000 at senior roles. Automation testers range between $65,000 to $107,000, and QA managers, they range between $75,000 to $130,000. One more thing to keep in mind about these two provinces, that Winnipeg and Saskatchewan are not primarily big IT markets. IT is mostly there to support other industries that drive the economy. But lately, few startups have come up at these places which have done very good. For example, Skip the Dishes. Before we jump to the next one, I would like to tell you guys that degrees and diplomas only make you eligible for entry into the corporate world. What makes you succeed and grow are your skills. Now, in order to get started with career in manual or automation testing, there's a very good course on Skillshare by Victor Gorinov. Please make sure you do check that out. Alberta has been primarily home to oil and gas industry, and almost all of the oil and gas industries have headquarters in this province. Software professionals used to mainly work at these companies here, but things have started to change since last 7 to 8 years. After slump in oil prices and encouragement from the government to other sectors, a lot of technology companies have made Calgary as their base. With low taxes, great local talent pool, affordable housing, and mountains just an hour away, technology companies are loving this place, especially Calgary, when it comes to setting up their offices. Let's talk about Calgary first. The salaries for manual testers start around $51,000 and can go up to $91,000 for senior level or more experienced people. For automation testers, starters can expect to earn around $65,000 and can go all the way up till $107,000 as they gain experience. QA managers start around $87,000 and they can go all the way up till $141,000 per annum. Now let's move 300 kilometers north of Calgary and get a feel of salaries offered in capital city Edmonton. The salaries offered in Edmonton are not very different when you compare it to Calgary, but yes, between these two cities, Calgary is a bigger market for IT in Alberta as compared to Edmonton. Now let's talk about the biggest IT market in Canada, Ontario. The section of Highway 401 between Toronto and Waterloo has become one of the North America's largest tech hubs, with a large concentration of technology companies clustered in Toronto, Markham, and Waterloo area. It is so big that the Toronto information and communications technology sector contributes approximately $26 billion in the GDP. That is 65% of Canada's total private sector information and communications technology R&D spend, and $14 billion in exports to the provincial economy. If we look at all the places covered, the numbers are similar across all parts of Ontario, except automation testers, especially when it comes to Waterloo. Waterloo is coming up as a Silicon Valley of Canada with a huge number of tech companies setting up their bases there, and automation testers start around $85,000 and they can make all the way up till $140,000 as they grow in experience. Manual testers range between $46,000 and $83,000, whereas QA managers, they range between $77,000 and $127,000. Ontario not only is among the top paymasters when it comes to testing professionals, this market is so huge that it becomes relatively easy for new immigrants with IT background to find their first job in Canada when you compare it with other provinces. This is one of the reasons a lot of immigrants from IT background end up landing in Ontario before moving to other parts of Canada. The only drawback about Ontario is cost of living, as your dollar would last less compared to rest of Canada. You must keep in mind that these are the base salaries that I have mentioned in this video. Usually people working in senior roles do end up getting other benefits like stock options, paid cell phones, extra days off, profit sharing, bonuses, but it all depends from company to company and how good of a negotiator you are. As Canada is trying to diversify from commodity-based economy to technology and service, a lot of technology companies have come up and they are making this sector very exciting. Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, Waterloo, and Halifax are now home to very exciting technology companies, and this is the biggest market outside Silicon Valley for any startup. Long and short-term prospects for testing, no matter which one you pick, look very good. I hope I was able to answer some of your questions regarding software testing and how much you can earn by being a software tester in Canada. Do subscribe to this channel for more such informative videos, and make sure you leave a comment and like this video. If you want to support this channel, please share this video with at least one of your WhatsApp groups. Hope you found it informative, and I can't wait to see you next time. Till then, stay awesome.